So Mike, I'm going to show you a little bit of what I have set up here. I'm actually at the point where I'm taking the beer, I'm racking it from the primary fermenter into the keg. Let me show you a little bit and then I'll show you how to get it going. So here is, let's back up a little bit. You can see a regular CO2 tank. Here is my fermenter. It's a little dark in there. Hope you can see it okay. I have it wrapped in a blanket, which is to help it keep its temperature. I'll give you more detail of how the fermentation chamber works. And here's the keg. There's a CO2 line here. I should back up. And here and here. The CO2 is going to add a little bit of pressure to that carboy. Now the carboy is not a high pressure vessel, so I use very little pressure to transfer the beer. I'll try to set it up so you can see. You see the bottle of isopropyl alcohol on the shelf there. I use a spray bottle of that on all the fittings when I'm doing kegging or other jobs. So I'm going to have the gas pressure down really low. I have gas going into the keg because I want to keep as little oxygen as possible, so I'm purging the keg constantly. I'm going to turn that on now. Turn up the pressure. I've got the gas going at about 2 PSI right now, and then I'm going to open up the gas on the carboy, which will force the beer down into the keg. So if I turn that, hopefully it's light enough on the film, you'll be able to see. Here it comes. There it goes. So now the beer is going down. More of the description here. Up here is a Johnson Controls thermometer and thermostat. It's got a probe that goes into the inside of the refrigerators right here. So when the refrigerator is on cool mode, I set the thermostat temperature down. I can set the temperature on, I set it on 28, which is just way lower than what the refrigerator makes it. So I use that mostly just to keep track of the temperature now that the compressor is on. If the temperature gets higher than that, so when I'm actually doing the fermentation, I set the temperature on 70 or 68 usually, and that keeps it warm in here. I'm going to take a little pause and then catch my breath and I'll show you some more. Okay, so here's a little more on the keg. You can see I just go in right through the top with the line, which is coming from the, that's the beer going from the carboy into the keg. The keg is about half full right now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of snitch a sample out of there. I actually do have a wine thief similar to the one that you have that I could use, but I basically never do use it for that. This would be a good time for it. But instead I'm going to just use a glass and I'm going to catch a little bit. I'm setting the lid in some sanitizer while I have the lid off because I don't want it to get contaminated with anything. Here it is, your glass. Pull off about a half a cup. Smell it? I like to leave the lid on just because. I don't know if you can even see me when I'm standing over there. Okay, the beer has finished. I'm going to just take the tube out. A little bit left in here, and I tend to hate waste, so I'll see if I can get it to come out. Let gravity work for me. Okay, now I have the gas is still running, it's still on 2. I'm going to turn the gas up to about 5 pounds. I'm going to let that run for a little bit. It's about 3 inches of headspace. Preferred if there's 1 inch of headspace, just because I like more beer, but it's good. 3 inches of headspace. I let that run. I'm pushing out as much oxygen as possible. And then I take the keg and close it down. I spray over the top with a little isopropyl alcohol. Actually, if you use iodophor, it'll bubble if there's any leaks. Alright, then I'm going to pause. I'm going to show you some more. So here's a little bit more on how the thermostat works. It says it's 51 degrees inside the refrigerator right now. I'm going to turn that temperature up. Its temperature setting is 27. I'm going to turn it up to just 60 for now, because I'm going to end up turning it down again. Alright, it's at 64. So temperature is 51, temperature setting is 64. See that little green light just came on? When that green light comes on, this incandescent light comes and shines inside there, and that's what provides the heat. The top, you can see where the tower for the kegerator used to be. I have the wires that come in there. There's a power wire for the light, there's a temperature probe, and a power wire also for this in the corner, which is an old computer fan. And that was a key part. When I didn't have that, it would get hot. It would get hot up at the top and still be cold down here. So by having this computer fan circulating the air, it keeps it at a good constant temperature. This is the temperature probe. I typically keep it stuck right next to the carboy so that the temperature that it's reading is the temperature of the beer, not just the temperature of the air. And then when I want to cool it, I plug in the compressor for the refrigerator and I turn the temperature down so that that light doesn't keep coming on, which is actually what I'm going to do now, because I want to put that keg that I just filled, it's sitting right there, I want to put that back in there because I want the temperature to be cold while it carbonates. So I'm going to pause again. Okay, So I have the keg and the carbon dioxide tank in the refrigerator, and what I'm going to do, stick the temperature probe. Oh, my tape came undone because it's so humid. Well, you might have to trust me on that. I'll have to redo that. Okay, so I'm going to fix that later. But I stick the temperature probe right next to the tank. I'm going to turn the gas up. I don't know if the light is too dark. It's at 5. I'm going to turn it up to about 9.5 pounds. I'll probably end up turning it up a little bit more. That's what's going to carbonate it. Close the fridge, then I'm going to turn on the compressor, and I'm good. I have to clean up, and I'll put the video together for you.